and it'll be uploaded to this that address on YouTube. So what we'll do is, I'm guessing this might take 30 minutes, 30 or 40 minutes, but I thought it might be a good idea if we have a bit of a wānanga afterwards. And yeah, and I think it's important that our Māori artists can talk about AI and get an understanding about it, and our kaitiaki reo
It's
people
my audio.
can also share, and we can try and combat and address how we can use AI to our advantage. So just this is co-hosted and co-presented with the Institute of Artificial Intelligence Governance, or AI Governance. So as one of the directors in Lee Tumutumu, we offer specialised AI training. So just a plug, if you want some specialised AI training with a specific kaupapa Māori perspective, we welcome to hear from you. So as I said, I mean, with artificial intelligence, we're at a crossroads. I mean, AI can, basically continue the discrimination and the racism, but on steroids, or we can use AI to decolonize and empower ourselves. So I'm hoping that some of this conversation today, we can talk about how we can use AI to empower ourselves. Part of that conversation is going to be difficult for some of us, but I firmly believe there's lots of opportunities here for us. So I have to do a couple of disclaimers. So this whole presentation was written by me. If I've used any AI, I put disclaimers in there. I have to just point out that I'm not providing legal advice, and that I am a member of the Māori Advisory Committee for Trademarks New Zealand, and I sit on several other boards which have nothing to do with this presentation. So it's just my personal opinions only. And and the presentation was last updated yesterday. So I put that disclaimer there because things in AI change so quickly that something might have happened today that I'm not aware of that could change this presentation. So I think when we're talking about artificial intelligence and te reo Māori and toi Māori, we need to understand the whakapapa of what's happened with our culture in the past. So, and this image here is an image from in Canterbury. So this is Kokorarata. And so for me, whenever I think about whakapapa of our culture, this is where my mind goes to. So there's been a steady conversation from people saying that artificial intelligence will colonize te reo Māori. So I thought it was important to just go back in time and have consider some of the facts. We know that our ancestors, our tipuna, that they shared and taught the original colonizers te reo Māori. It was the colonizers who developed the written language. The primary motivations included the Bible, included church sermons, and of course, as we know, treaties, so they could try and control and work with Māori. We also, I think, so it's also important to point out that these conversations are happening typically by non-Māori. And so it's important to say, well, our language cannot be colonized. If we're going to say it can be colonized, then it was colonized when we lost all of our dialect, all our meta, because the missionaries and the colonizers wanted to create a written language based on our oral language. I think we need to consider that artificial intelligence doesn't care about languages. It doesn't discriminate. And we should also consider that our current government has a English language first policy. So I think, when we start to think of AI with our reo Māori, this is some whakapapa we should start thinking about. We also need to think back in our history. The Māori language was once banned with the Native Schools Act. And so basically, any child born after 1969 could legally learn to speak Māori. So that's basically anyone who's over the age of, say, 60, 61, yeah, if they did learn to speak Maori, then it was done. Yeah, it would have been done in secrecy and not very public. We will say the Tohunga Suppression Act, which only was only repealed in 1962. So basically, that made all of our traditional tohunga healing illegal, and in the act, that's called repugnant behaviour. And so that had the flow-on effects as well with Maori language, where a lot of our practitioners, our whai kōrero, kai kōrero, and our kai karanga, that they couldn't and didn't use that fine art form of the reo because of the Tohunga Suppression Act, because of the issues from the Native Schools Act. And I mean, I'm guessing for the Maori audience here, I mean, we probably all share the same story that, our grandparents, maybe our parents, did talk about being physically beaten for speaking Maori at school. Yeah, most people have these stories from different generations. But then even in the 1960s, we had the J.K. Hunn report. It was commissioned by the Department of Māori Affairs, and it recommended that Māori leave their tribal areas and come to the city, which also contributed to loss of language. So we've got to remember that our language was once forbidden. Then in 1972, we had some Māori activists and passionate Māori leaders petition Parliament to make to recognise Te Reo Māori as an official language. A lot of these photos actually show different banners with Māori saying that the Māori language is for Māori and for Pākehā. So I think that's quite important to remember this, that we, our tipuna shared our language with non-Māori, and our language advocates from the 70s also shared our language with everybody. And so most importantly, that part of that petition has said, we, the undersigned, do humbly pray that courses in Māori language and aspects of Māori culture be offered in all those schools with large Māori roles, and that these same courses be offered as a gift to the Pākehā from Māori in all other New Zealand schools as a positive effort to promote a more meaningful concept of integration. So I think this is a really powerful statement when we're considering artificial intelligence and our reo Māori. Our staunch advocates wanted to share our language, and they wanted it to be normalised. So in this image here is the Honourable Whetū Titi Kātini, as part of the, it was in Parliament at that time. And so the Māori Language Act, which has changed its name since, but basically it provides the Māori language as a taonga for all New Zealanders. It's an official language of New Zealand. So we can speak Māori in courts. It's a legally recognised language. And I just note that the English language is not an official language. It's just merely the language that everyone speaks. So in terms of giving our language to the big tech companies, again, I hear people saying, well, we can't let these big tech companies use our reo because they'll colonize it, they'll commercialize it, they'll do all other sorts of things. So some of us were around in the days when we couldn't write macrons on computers. It took a few advocates. There's people like myself, Tucker Keegan, a few other people. We kept on pushing for some, for macrons to be made available. And that became possible in only about 2000 to 2002. We could actually start writing macrons. Another problem we had with our language is that Māori language speakers couldn't talk properly about anything about computers and the internet because there was no kupu hau. So again, it was language advocates created new terms, and so that Māori could speak about IT and about digital. So we also had a technology called UTF-8, which is an international standard for characters on computers. and that made it possible to create macrons in web addresses. So that was introduced in about 2004. We had Google was translated into the Māori language by Māori language advocates, and hundreds of thousands, I think it was about two to 300,000 new kupu Māori were created for Microsoft. So we have the ability to use Microsoft in Te Reo Māori or in English. So when I hear this argument that big tech are stealing our language, I think back to this and say, well, we've given our language to big tech, and we've honoured our language advocates who fought for normalisation and for legal recognition of Te Reo Māori, so that all of us can just take it for granted that we can use our computers with Te Reo Māori or English. So some of the downsides of the artificial intelligence using our language, there are going to be significant changes. I think this is why it's important we have a wānanga about this. My personal opinion is, as with other languages, we will see virtual kaiako using teaching Te Reo Māori. I know that it's offensive for some people to hear this, but I think what we have to do is we have to consider that this might happen, and we have to consider how do we best protect our language experts, and how do we best ensure that this is not going to be too detrimental. So what we do know already is that multiple other languages are being taught by AI already, and we can have things like the technology is already available to impersonate a person teaching that language. So, I mean, I could quite easily create a video of me doing this kōrero without actually being there, just being AI generated. So I think some of the demand here will be we don't have enough Māori language teachers right now, and there's always a supply and demand issue. So in my opinion, this is something, we need to consider this. I know that our language is it's a spoken language, not a written language. I know that AI is improving the way it uses verbal language with Māori language. At present, it doesn't pronounce words properly. It creates a number of issues. But what we are seeing each year, that's improving in the same way that we're seeing significant improvements with the written language from AI. So for me, I think we need to plan for this. We can't hide from it. But we do need to look at the tikanga and adapt. So for me, some of the ideas I've had is we need to actually consider what reo do we give AI. Should we be giving a pepeha, whakatauki, tribal stories? And I say no, we shouldn't. We should be keeping that for kanohi ki kanohi learnings. Those things should be, as whānau, hapu, iwi, we should be trying to encourage our people back to the marae to learn those things. And we should be doing everything we can to make sure that the AI doesn't get that sort of that tapu side of our reo. So I think, there's a number of conversations there that we need to have. And of course, there's a group, a significant population that say, well, let's just not give AI any of our reo, just ignore it. But as I've said before, I mean, AI, we've already been giving big tech companies our reo, and we already know that AI is basically sourcing everything off the internet, YouTube clips, podcasts, archive material, books. We also know that there's people who are scanning books, uploading them to the internet. AI is taking those books and learning from them. Earlier this year, we were made aware that a number of New Zealand books were illegally scanned, uploaded, and used by AI. And unfortunately, some of those books included Māori language books, including from Scotty Morrison and Stacey. And so that we know that they've already been consumed by AI. So, if we were to try and stop AI from ingesting our reo, we could end up disadvantaging our future generation or our children who use AI. So, one of the issues we could have, while mainstream children use AI to refine their schoolwork, teachers might use it to create lesson plans or create tasks, etc., refine their thinking. If the AI doesn't have Reo Māori, then we could have students who will be disadvantaged because they can't use AI because the reo's not there. What we do know, we will also see high rates of inconsistencies with Māori language. So if the AI doesn't have enough of the reo, it's just going to start guessing what the words are. And this is what we saw when ChatGPT first became dominant. It guessed a lot of Māori words, and language experts said it was just as bad as Google Translate. But now I'm hearing a lot of language experts are saying, yeah, but it's pretty good. Other language experts are saying, yeah, it's good, and it's obvious that it's got its own dialect. So yeah, these are things that this is the things that our Māori language experts to talk about. For me, I'm just providing what's actually happening in the. So we're going to jump over to Māori art. As I said before, this should only be about a 30-minute kōrero. So tech colonisation of our Māori art. We know prior to colonisation, we had our own tools. We had they were made of natural resources, pounamu, wood, shell. We know that all art forms had a whakapapa to the atua. And all art forms consumed and used mātauranga Māori, karakia, and there was a lot of tapu noa considerations. But then we know since colonisation, the colonisers introduced metal instruments and other Western tools. So that was a second phase of colonisation with our art. The introduction of electricity has obviously created new art forms. In the 1980s, we had graphic artists becoming a new profession with software that could create images. I think that one of the worst things that happened to Māori art happened in the 90s when the internet and the World Wide Web become household resources for many New Zealanders. So we saw cultural appropriation become widespread. And it didn't have to take weeks and months for a photo to be published in a magazine to be sent overseas. It was happening within seconds. We saw widespread appropriation and theft when digital music was introduced with MP3s and file sharing, and when our TVs and our radios went from analog to digital. We had something else that I don't hear people talking about too often, but 3D printing. That definitely was a wave of colonisation with our art. That, rightly or wrongly, we have Māori artists using 3D printing with plastics and perspex and other materials. And then in 2022, we saw ChatGPT and other AI tools that created and stole Māori art forms. So I guess what my thinking here is this is just artificial intelligence and art is just another wave of colonisation. And we can look at our past. We can say, well, we could have done this better. We shouldn't have done this. And we can learn how we can adapt AI with art forms and going forward. And again, I think this is a conversation with our Toi Māori artists, and that should be having between themselves and with tech people, so we can come up with some solutions. Personally, at this stage, I consider that artificial intelligence and art is just a mass scale digital art heist. We don't have control right now. We have lots of examples of Maori art being stolen, whether it's our traditional musical instruments, artwork, kōrero, etc. We know it's happening. So one of the reasons that it is happening in New Zealand and all around the world because legislation around the world hasn't quite caught up. In particular, New Zealand legislation is quite out of date. We've got suggestions for government agencies to sort of self-regulate AI, but overall, our Copyright Act, Trademarks Act, all of our intellectual property rights legislation doesn't consider AI. And my feeling is that we're a long way off getting AI recognised in IP legislation. This current government doesn't want to regulate AI, yet So I mean, it's my understanding that a new government is interested, or other government parties are discussing regulation and the impacts of regulation. For me, I think it's easy enough. We could look at the EU. They've got the AI Act. There's a number of big countries who are regulating AI. And if New Zealand took a leaf out of their legislation, we could start seeing protection mechanisms in place. If your art is used by an AI, I think you need to go to a lawyer and you'll have to prove that your AI was taken. But again, remembering I'm not a lawyer, this is just personal observations. We've seen graphic artists and other art forms, digital art forms, have usually been able to be copyrighted. I think if you're creating Maori art with AI, you're probably not able to copyright it. Courts around the world have said that anything created by an AI can't be copyrighted because it's not a human being. So again, I mean lawyers may suggest otherwise, but so for me, I think if you are using AI to create art, you should keep all the prompts, so the whakapapa of how you created that image. And then I'd probably suggest, I'd say keep the prompts and engage with the lawyer if you're wanting to, claim copyright of AI generated art. Another conversation I had at a Institute of Directors meeting a few months ago was that the fact that you can create trademarks, images of trademarks with AI, and that's probably the only way you can. The Institute of Directors meeting was promoting that you could trademark an image, but you can't copyright it. So I mean, again, it doesn't quite make sense to me, but there we go. It's important that any artwork that you are digitizing, if you're going to put it onto social media or put it through an AI, or even just put it on the internet anywhere, it's really important to read the terms of service for those platforms. Quite often, the AI or the social media will claim full ownership of your artwork, and that artwork will end up in an AI at some stage. So again, just be really careful where you're putting digital artworks. So again, this is something I normally say to non-Maori people I talk to. Cultural appropriation, it's not illegal, but it's definitely immoral. And cultural appropriation or misappropriation is basically when one culture one culture takes cultural artifacts or elements from a minority group and then exploits that artwork. In the same way we see with artificial intelligence, AI does appropriate and misappropriate Māori art. And again, people who have maybe just grabbed an image off the internet and think it's okay, it's it's highly immoral. You're taking money out of artists' pockets, out of their whānau. Here's some images that I used last year, just of how these are Māori artists creating Māori art. First, I mean, I think Moko experts I've spoken to have critiqued some of these, but you can see how much the AI is learning because AI learns from the patterns. So Moko is like quite easy for AI to learn. And this is this is a comment I saw on a Facebook page by in a community of Māori artists who are using AI to create art. And for me, this is disturbing. So basically, it says, got to create it, bro. I've been feeding mine of PDFs of Toi Whakaiaro and Tā Moko. It hasn't really caught up yet, but just got to keep teaching your bot. I've been focusing on Moko Kauai, but it seems no one has really got that sussed yet. So this is by Māori in a Māori community. So basically, what this artist is saying is that the artist is sourcing images of people with moko, scanning them as PDFs, and uploading them to artificial intelligence so it can learn to create those images we just saw. It's So I think this is important that we understand that it's not just big tech companies taking our IP, and it's not just non-Maori. This is our own people are doing this. And again, this goes back to the different waves of colonization, of tech colonization. We've lost our mātauranga Māori, we've lost our tikanga with art, and I think this is we need to start having these conversations. So again, there's the argument. There's those in the community who say, well, is it evolution or is it colonization? Sorry, this image is AI generated. Just missing the disclaimer there. So we've gone from our traditional tools to electrical tools. We've gone from the uhi to tattoo guns, natural dyes. I still know many artists who create the natural dyes, but also many artists who just buy paint as well. Korowai, some of my relations created korowai in the old ways, and now I see a lot of korowai being made with synthetic materials and sewing machines. So again, I don't have a firm opinion on this. I just think we just need to be aware of this. We need to think about it, the whakapapa of art and the old tikanga. And as I said, I mean, often it's our own people doing this to ourselves. I remember, the first time I saw a kapahaka group with painted on moko, and I just remember some of the conversations by my elders who weren't impressed about it. Yet today, I mean, we've got the resurgence of moko, which is good, but I think we've lost a lot of our tikanga there. And so again, we have to weigh this up when we're adding to AI. So just adding on to that, so this is an image of again from my kakarata marae. So we do know that AI steals images. It doesn't care. It doesn't care if you put a copyright notice on there. It doesn't matter what legal ownership you have. AI will just take it. It's again, if you've got a registered patent, a registered trademark, if you can prove you own copyright, it doesn't matter. AI will just take it if it's on the internet. What we do know is that a lot of the AI images do look cheap and tacky, and I mean I've been looking at Māori generated AI art for a couple of years now, so I can usually tell what's been generated by AI. But there's also other key giveaways. hands often have 6 or 7 fingers. If you're using an image with kupu Māori, the macrons usually end up turning into G's or other characters. So you can, yeah, I mean, you can often tell. Um, I think, yeah, as I said before, with our Māori artists who are using AI to generate images, I think there needs to be that conversation between our traditional Māori artists and the AI artists, and there needs to be some conversations about the mātauranga, the ownership, what AI actually does, and the impacts it does have on art, and the benefits and solutions that we can come up with. So again, I mean, some of the ramifications of AI art. I think we're seeing this already. I've talked about it again. Our mātinga, our puking, our tohunga, that knowledge is being replaced and ignored. We just, as I said before, I mean, we've just got Māori artists who are just don't have that mātauranga Māori. And what they're actually doing when they're feeding the AI is they're actually encouraging further widespread IP abuse and theft of mātauranga Māori. And of course, as I said, some of these artists are creating AI generated art, but they can't. Yeah, they have some ownership issues, which is a point of issue for many of them. So some tips: you can try and use watermarks in your images, or use different sounds if you're using audio, video. There is you can if you have a moho, I mean, you might want to consider trying to, if your image is going online, maybe obstructing the moho a bit, or blurring it out. I mean, again, that's a personal choice, but I'm just trying to provide some possible solutions here. Definitely, for personal safety reasons, I suggest that you really seriously consider what images you do upload. We know that images of children, can attract predators. People with protection orders, people who are trying to stay away from violent people, can often be tracked by photos they upload. I think this is timely that we go back to the old tikanga of when we used about photos and our artwork, and create or regenerate tikanga, whether that's at the marae, the art studio, in our communities. These things need to start. We need to start talking about it now. No one else is going to have that conversation for us, so we need to take the lead. If you are if you do use digital art, there's 2 programs which poison AI that uses your images. So one's called Nightshade, and the other one's called Glaze. They both require a bit of technical knowledge. They're both free to use, and they both require decent computers to use the poisoning part. So I think, I mean, as artists and anyone who's concerned about their artwork being online, definitely consider have a look at Nightshade or Glaze. What I've seen it do is just like, if you've ever been in the dark and a light turns on, it's kind of like the headlights coming at you. It's kind of like a really bright sort of looking. Yeah, it's a really bright image that covers up your actual image. And again, I mean, the watermarks is okay to a point, but a lot of the AI is now programmed to remove watermarks. So, I mean, other artists are just putting their names on there, or imprinting, embedding within images their different messages and codes. So, as I say, I mean, we've got to look to the back at the past to understand the future. I strongly believe that our mātauranga has many answers in terms of AI. We have lots of mātauranga Māori about sharing our voices. We've got mātauranga Māori about our images, our face being stolen. I know Māori artists, many Māori artists have lots of mātauranga Māori and tikanga that can be merged and adapted. And I think people like the Institute of AI Governance, we could take a lead here by when we're doing prompt engineering training, that we try and build in safety measures. Anyone who's learning prompt engineering or learning AI needs to, well, they should consider Te Ao Māori perspective while they're learning. And unfortunately, what we do know that AI is not really being taught in our educational institutes. And we also know that AI is, there's a massive skills gap in our government agencies with AI. And so just recently, the government made an announcement that they're receiving AI training from an international big tech company. So that training has no tikanga Māori, no te tiriti mātauranga Māori components as part of that training. So it's up to us to bring that knowledge into all AI training and consider our mātauranga Māori, our IP rights, how it's going to impact our reo Māori. So this is just some stats from last year. There was some research from Australia and New Zealand Indigenous peoples artists. So what we know is that music creators have already seen negative impacts of AI. Last year, I spoke to a Māori artist who his traditional flute sounds were stolen and put into a music track. So we know there's a trans-Tasman mistrust of AI. And again, I mean, the public aren't always aware that this is happening or understand that this is happening. So I think it's up to all of us to point out that taking someone else's IP is stealing from them. It is creating financial losses. So some of the key findings was that it was decided that Māori should decide how to use AI with Māori sounds and music to protect their own traditional knowledge and integrity. I think that the research said that amongst artists, most Indigenous artists understood that their data was being scraped or stolen, and that it's creating harms within the traditional communities. Again, I think this is something that we as Māori, as artists, as reo kaitiaki, we need to consider how we address this issue, and make sure that these issues are talked about in all aspects of AI development. As I said, the general public don't often understand the difference or recognise what might be appropriated sound, video, or an image. As I said, I mean, it's taken me a couple of years to be able to pick up images that are created by AI. But I personally, I would not be able to tell you what was created by a real person or an AI in terms of other sound. Sorry, we've just did this before. So I'm also a member of the Māori IP advisory group for Toiuhu, but I think it's important if you're artists, go and check out their website. I'm not promoting them. I don't have any authority to speak on behalf of the organisation, but I just thought while we're here, while you're thinking about this, this might be another avenue to try and protect your mātauranga Māori. And so now, hopefully, we can just jump into some wānanga. I think we can do questions. I think if you can raise your hand, I can answer questions or have a bit of a wānanga there. I'll just start. There's something from Andrew Weaver in the comments here. You called out education, collective action as key issues to navigate many lessons learned from Māori protecting. Blah, blah. Oh, okay. So basically, Andrew's asking about how do we protect or how do we promote protecting Mātauranga Māori with AI. So I think personally, I think some of the one way to do this is to understand or decide what's tapu and what's no. If something is tapu, personally I'd keep it away from the internet, keep it away from anything digital. If it's if you think it's no, I'd probably suggest making sure that your whānau and your communities think that it's no and can be shared. I think I've seen instances where an individual has shared tribal whakapapa because it's their whakapapa, but while it was their whakapapa, it's also the collective whakapapa. So I think having that conversation is quite important. I think, as I mean, we are we are our ancestors of artificial intelligence. We're the pioneers. There's no one else doing this for us. We have to decide, how we protect ourselves, how we protect Mātauranga Māori, and we just have to go and do it ourselves. And like other things, we can't wait for other people to tell us what to do because it's us. And I think it's just I think being more and more up to date and aware of what AI is and what it isn't, and not being afraid of it, but just looking for the benefits. Um, yeah. Yeah. So happy to take any other questions or. Okay. But I think kia ora. Yes, as I said, this will be uploaded to YouTube later on. Oh, cool. I've got a big one here. James. All right. So James is just talking about glaze. So um, yeah. Kia ora. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I didn't want to promote yeah glaze and stuff, but thanks for putting it there. And it's I mean, some people might find it difficult, but I mean, just yell out. I think if you're going to use it, it'd be really good to get some case studies as well, so we can actually say, our communities have used it, and this is how it worked. Yeah. So what can New Zealand do better? To be honest, I think we need to regulate AI in New Zealand. We need to. In America, they don't want to regulate because it will stop innovation, or that they say it will stop innovation. I think we can promote innovation, but protect intellectual property rights by regulating to a point. And I think, some of the areas we need to regulate in is intellectual property rights and crimes against, whether it's against individuals or financial crimes. But we need to look at that. I don't know if there's any official response about AI from Te Taurawhiri. And I've had conversations with them over the last couple of years, but my personal opinion is that they're aware and they've got some very clever people there. But if anyone's from Taurawhiri here wants to jump in, please feel free to. Um, Jade. So I mean, again, as Maori artists and Maori communities, I think, I think another way we can protect our Mātauranga Māori is by having these conversations. Because if we're not having these conversations, then no one else is having them for us. And then I think we can start lobbying our MPs. We can, maybe use the iwi Leaders Forum and other influential Māori leaders to actually push this forward. And it's not just a Māori issue. I mean, this is any artist, anyone who owns any intellectual property is at risk of having it stolen from artificial intelligence. So I think and then the more we can upskill ourselves and upskill our communities in AI, the better we'll be, and the more likelihood we'll be to get regulation in place. Oh, so there's comment here about Michael Runningwolf. Yeah, he's definitely one of the Indigenous AI leaders that I follow, and I know Lee has a relationship with him as well. Definitely check out Indigenous AI net. Just full respect to Michael Runningwolf. And I think whether there's the Toi Iho trademark or whether there's another Maori tech qual I think those conversations need to be had. And most definitely that would be a good idea. I think that, I mean, as I said before, the research shows that our trans-Tasman cousins are in the same position as us. And perhaps trans-Tasman relationships and collaboration would be really important too. Right. Well, I think if there's no other questions, maybe we'll just end it. Sorry, no, we've got here. So the question here: how can Toi Māori artists promote their mahi? Uploading imagery online is risky. So again, I'd look at those AI tools to try and poison the image. The watermarks. Maybe just uploading low quality images. As risky. Basically, for me, I don't add anything online. I don't want that. Yeah, everything I upload, I'm comfortable with someone taking it and doing whatever with it. That's just. I think this is just a sad part of reality, and we've seen it. Intellectual property rights be more and more abused over the years.
Kia ora, Karaitiana.
Kia ora.
I'm not asking you a question. I just want to thank you for the presentation today. It's been really interesting, really informative, and it does provoke, and it means that we do have to have many more conversations about this.
Yes.
If I look online and look at all the images that are there to promote Māori artists and Māori creatives, then that in itself is an issue because on the one hand, we're promoting and profiling people, and on the other hand, it's at risk of being stolen by AI.
Yes.
So again, thank you very much. It's been excellent. I really enjoyed listening to you, and I certainly will. We certainly will pass the word on about the availability of this whole presentation online.
Great, thank you. I just said the comment here from James again. I think another option we could have is by using our own sovereign data centers or our own servers, and looking at how engaging with technical communities to try and protect the imagery. But again, that goes into the whole realm of protecting of data sovereignty. I think those conversations need to be had. And I just saw this morning there's an Indigenous group in Canada, I think, who've basically got their own data center shipped into their remote community. So I think it's we need to be looking at what other people are doing. So there's another comment from Joe. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, there's other people talking about using technologies like blockchain, and there's lots of things, um, different technologies that we could be considering. But yeah, again, I think this is where it's important that the artist community has these conversations and then has it with the technical community. And I think that's the best way we can come up with solutions. There's no point the technical people telling the artists what's good for them, and etc. So definitely more collaboration is needed everywhere. Right. Okay, well, I think we might just call it an end. We're scheduled to finish at 2, but we've got 9 minutes left. So I just want to say, thank you for everyone. Enjoyed the comments. It'll be on up on YouTube, and also just feel free to reach out, to Lee and I, and we can definitely carry on these conversations. Oh, sorry. Oh, I've got a hands up. Or is it a? Oh, Kevin. Kia ora, Kevin. Kevin
Sure.
Scannell, he's a
It was just applause.
Oh, sorry. Okay, thanks. Okay, great.
No
And just
question. Yeah. Thanks for the
great,
presentation.
great, thanks. And just acknowledging your work in language revitalizations. So Kevin's done a lot of language revitalization work from a very technical level. So just nice to see you here. Thank you. Cool. Okay, great. Okay, thanks everybody.